Hey friends, this is Sketch Dirt and I'm Marla. I'm so glad you're here. Today we are drawing slime bubble letters for Halloween. Okay, so as I'm getting started here today, as you can see for this video in the series, I'm drawing letters G, H, and I. I feel like after you get through the first few letters, the really easy ones at the beginning, then the rest of the letters will get a little more difficult. Like H and I, pretty easy, but G, a little more difficult. And so that's why I love to do a series like this, and I love to do all of the letters. So that way, like maybe some of them just automatically you'd know how to draw them, but then there's going to be a couple where you're like, I'm not really sure. Let's see what somebody else does. And so here's what I'm doing. So I'm taking a thin black marker and outlining all the details of the slime and the letters themselves. And then I'm going to take a thicker black marker and outline the outside edges of everything just to give a very bold graphic look to all the letters overall. You can definitely draw whatever you like for your pieces, and definitely you can kind of like get creative with the letters. You can make them puffier or skinnier depending on what you like and what your idea is. This is just like kind of a an approach that is very flexible. I'll say it's really easy to do, and you can kind of like go with your drawing however you want, and you'll be successful because like the slime itself is pretty easy to draw. It doesn't have to look really perfect for it to turn out really good. You're kind of draping it over the letters and kind of putting in some wiggly lines. Like if it was water where the drips have to look very perfect and there's a certain look to water, that would be a little different. But the slime is very gloopy and lumpy, and any kind of like shaky lines just helps to make it look more realistic. Okay, so I've erased everything, and I'm taking a neon green marker and coloring in all the slime. That's another thing for this series. I wanted to use markers like drugstore markers. I wanted it to be super easy and just like you could kind of use whatever you had around your house and be successful. At the end of the video, I will be putting in a white highlight with a white pen. That might be a little harder to find. I think in drugstores and in craft stores more, they have things like that, but if they don't, you can definitely use, instead if you don't have a white pen, you can use whiteout, you can use paint, you can use crayon, you can use colored pencil, you could even use like nail polish if you have white nail polish but you don't have a white pen, and you can get a little brush or you can get a toothpick, and all those effects will work almost exactly the same. It'll give the exact same look. Or for your drawing, if you just don't want it in there, you don't have to have the white highlight in there, and it's still going to look really great. So I'm going through here now and taking an orange marker and coloring in the first letter. For this series, I chose the letters to be 3 different colors. That's because I just love the Halloween combination. But then also you can see how this idea works across a bunch of different colors, and you can see that you could try just about anything and it would still turn out great. The size of the letters, the box that I had erased around the letters, that size is 2 inches tall by 5.5 inches wide. So all the letters are like 2 inches tall. So this idea, you can make the letters smaller, you can make them larger, and it's still going to work. I chose a size that would be, again, really flexible for whatever you want to draw. So the next thing I'm doing here is I'm coloring in the black with the thick black marker for the letter G. As you can see here, this is how I chose to draw the G. There's a couple different ways that you could do this and it would still look great, but I felt like this way of doing it where it kind of matched the letter C, but then the H, that's standing right next to it. I basically, like, when I have trouble figuring out how I want to design a letter, I look at the way I designed other letters and then I incorporate those elements so that it still looks very similar, but that it looks like its own unique letter. So I've colored in all the letters now, and I'm taking a thin black marker and I'm putting in the details of the slime. And I'm basically putting in bubbles, I'm putting in wavy lines. I'm not being super perfect with it. The slime's supposed to look very chunky and bubbly, and it just helps if you're not making it look too perfect. It helps to give that chunky, bubbly effect for the whole thing. And keep in mind, this doesn't have to be green slime. It can be whatever you want. It could actually, if you wanted it to be some sort of like bubble gum, it could be pink. It could be like, it could be red for like blood for Halloween. It can kind of be any color you want and it's going to look okay. And I'm drawing in the highlight for all the letters here. This is kind of the classic part of bubble letters, is that highlight. And I'm going through with a lime green marker. The base of the slime is neon green, and now I'm taking a lime green marker and just putting in extra dimension. I'm not outlining it, I'm just putting in some highlights, some darker dimensional shading around there. And again, not being too perfect, because that's what helps make it look like slime. It's what makes it look really bumpy and gloopy looking as it like drips over the letters. And as I finish that up here, then I'm going to go in with the white, and I'm going to go through and make all the shiny details. I'm going to put some white in the bubbles, and basically that will finish off all the letters. Now keep in mind, like what I said before, this is that white pen, and if you can't find something like that, I mean, you could take white out in a toothpick, you can take a crayon. Just about anything will work to give a similar effect to what I'm doing here. It doesn't have to be a white pen, because I know that sometimes something like that might be a little tough to find, or it might be a little expensive, but you'll get a similar effect. It'll look just as good. So that is going to cover it. This is going to be about it as I get these last highlights in. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you want to see in the comments. I love hearing from you, and definitely subscribe to my channel. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, and I always post pictures of like my process, like all the sketching I did to get to this point, because I never just pick up a pencil and start drawing. I have like practice pages. Again, thank you so much for watching. This is Sketch Dirt, and I'm Marla. Bye!